And Janite, when did you start playing the violin?
I played in junior high school.
In junior high?
I had lessons 4 months prior, sometime before then, like after the age of 9, and then prior to 7th grade. But I stopped. My mom, because I was playing the piano as well, and she thought I couldn't handle both. And so when it was time to find an elective for junior high, I thought, oh, I'll go to the orchestra.
What was your music education or experience prior to that? You said you were on the piano.
So I played starting in 9 years old, and I went to college. I have a degree in music, but after that I stopped.
So you started at 9 years old, but carried on with the piano through college.
Yes.
So, well, could you talk a little bit about what your piano background was then?
So it's classical music.
Mm-hmm. And what did music at home look like for you starting at 9? I mean, you went to lessons.
I went to lessons, and I was told I needed to practice a lot, and that was really. I listened actually probably the first 2 years, but after a while, you're a child. You want to go out and you have different interests. You want to explore the world, and I felt my mom thought well actually that I was starting late, and so I had to play this catch up because in her world, in Asia, you start when you're 3 or 4 years old. So starting at 9 sounds like you're really old. Mm-hmm. And so I actually had this complex of like, I'm behind and I have to always play catch up. So it actually was really hard for me. I wanted to quit. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I just kept on.
So what did your mother, and I imagine your dad was probably on board with this as well, but what were they telling you? We want you to do this because why? I mean, what was the motivation? Why was it important that it was worth that much? They were putting money and time and effort, and they clearly this was a priority for them.
Yeah, well, I have been thinking about how, first of all, I wasn't born in this country. I'm of a different culture, and my mom, when she was in her about 12 years old, they had to flee because it was the Korean War. So it's there's just a different mentality and different way of living, and succeeding is really important. And so I just remember my parents listening to classical music on the car, and someone's playing Tchaikovsky, and it's like, when are you going to play like that? And here I was just starting out, and it's overwhelming to hear Tchaikovsky. And I think, I don't know if I could ever play like that. But they just want that. I don't know.
What do you think success how would they have described it?
I'll tell you what my mom's dream was. She wanted me to be a piano teacher. She wanted me to be a church accompanist. She wanted me to be married well. And she thought that playing the piano, it's not, like you said, it's not like every family could afford lessons. So to be able to afford that and then do it well, you're kind of looked upon in on a sort of different platform, and she thought somehow I would access some kind of world through that. And for me, I didn't want that. I knew outright when she said, yeah, church, I struggled with that. I hated church. And then to be an accompanist, that kind of...
So she didn't have dreams of you being on stage?
No.
That wasn't the ambition?
No. It's more like social acceptance.
You took up the violin in junior high, and you kept playing?
It was my favorite class. I enjoyed playing with other people. The kids were great. And so 8th grade, 9th grade, it was fun. It was just fun.
You had friends there?
I had friends there. And we just 45 minutes of fun.
Every day?
Every day. I didn't practice at home or anything like that. It's a different world at home.
Yeah. You went home and practiced piano,
Yes.
but you stayed at school, you practiced, you played.
I played.
You got your degree in music, in piano, performance, teaching?
No, not teaching, performance.
Performance. And then what?
I had a breakdown my senior year. And so I couldn't play anymore. It got to the point where the classical music has this requirement for level of perfection. And it just got to a point where the voice in my head would basically say, why even practice? You're not, it's just, like that critical voice would say, why bother putting in all the hours? You're not going to do this perfectly. So I had to stop. And I was quite sad. I was distraught. It gets me emotional still now. I don't think about it too much. I don't think about the piano side too much. We're talking piano right now, so it brings up those feelings again. The fiddle is a different avenue.
Right. What got you to pick up the violin again?
I think it was that middle-age crisis. Instead of a red Mustang, just start to play it for a year. I said, I'm going to do something different though. I'm going to play by ear. And that was the thing with my piano playing that I was not happy with, was everything is sight reading and memorization, just pages and pages and pages. And so I would just go on YouTube and whatever song it might be, it could be a musical. I think in the beginning I was interested in klezmer music, and I would just try to play it just by ear. And I found it really challenging, but really fun. I would just get really energized afterward. What's interesting is that when you're young, one of the first measures that a parent notices that, oh, this child is gifted, is that the child is able to pick up a song. They're not reading on a radio. They hear it and they play it. And I was one of those child, and my parents knew that. I would sing and I would memorize songs. I was 3 or 4 years old, and the irony of it is that that's kind of beaten out of you, and you're told, okay, now look at the sheet of music and just play exactly what's written on there. And so that natural gift that we have that actually showed the parent that you were talented is shut down.